Hello, welcome to Business Statistics MBA 515. So you're new to this course, and I'm sure you went to orientation, but I do want to review a couple things with you in this video to make sure everyone's on the right page. So you know we have a section called General. We have right here the forum and the syllabus. If your instructor has anything to add to the course, they're going to add it here where it says added activity. It'll show up on your screen. Do note that sometimes professors might add extra assignments or give you a note to remind you when something maybe is due. Also, just to remind you, we have different videos right here. You have the lesson 1 and lesson 2 URL videos. We also have some videos for you to look at and write weekly discussions. Go ahead and summarize the lesson 1 and 2 in a 5-sentence paragraph or more. We also have these videos here. What is statistics, mathematical thinking? Then you also have a PowerPoint and a terminology video. Every week, this is pretty much what you're going to have. You're going to have some recorded lessons, lesson 1 and 2 already recorded, a weekly discussion for you to do, and a PowerPoint from learning some terms, and then a video about terms. You might have some other additional material here as well. You have access to your book. And just to also remind you, midterm, you will have a test, and finals, you will have a test as well. So it is pretty self-explanatory. I just wanted to go over this really quick so you're aware. And let me show you where the syllabus is. You're going to click on here where it says file. Okay, I clicked on it. I'm going to switch to the other side of the screen. Your professor will have your name here. This is not my name. This is not your professor's name. This is just an example. So the mission statement pretty much stays the same, no matter what class that you're in. Mission statement says Cornell University is dedicated to equipping students with the academic, professional, and spiritual resources so that they will express and represent Christ and that they're good men who function effectively in their careers, communities, and lives. All right, so right here, this example, this is not your school, this is another location, but look at the top for your information for your school, Philadelphia, or maybe you're actually taking online courses, so you might be anywhere in the world. We also have a vision statement, building God men who function, and women too, of course, effectively in their careers, communities, and lives. God men, persons who express God's attributes through the human virtue. We have course description, relationship of a course and mission statement. This course will provide students with general understanding of statistical techniques commonly used in involving business problems and undertaking market research. Topics include descriptive statistics, probability distributions, sampling distributions, and hypothesis testing. Program learning outcomes, PLO, describe professional knowledge of business, including accounting, finance, marketing, business law, e-commerce, and other key business areas. Demonstrate the ability to evaluate a situation, apply advanced business concepts to improve the performance of an organization, develop how to manage within different business environments, including the role of managers, evaluate how to make ethical and knowledgeable decisions with character and integrity in the works based upon the application of biblical principles. Your student learning outcomes is the course contributes to achieve the PLO. When a student finishes successfully his course, she demonstrates the ability to evaluate a situation, apply advanced business concepts in order to improve the performance of an organization. And course objectives and student learning outcomes are at the end of this course, students will be able to describe and discuss the key terminology, concept tools, and techniques used in business statistical analysis, critically evaluate the underlying assumptions of analysis tools, understand and critically discuss the issues surrounding samples and significance, Discuss critically the uses and limitations of statistical analysis. Solve a range of problems using techniques covered. Conduct basic statistical analysis of the data. You do have class attendance and participation, and make sure that you do your weekly discussions as well. So your class attendance and participation is you watching those videos and writing some summaries about it and then doing your weekly discussions. You do have a midterm exam. There'll be one midterm exam on the 8th week of the semester, and your final exam must be taken at the assigned date. So everything you can see is weighed out. 20% is your class attendance and participation. 20% is weekly discussion. 30% is your midterm exam. 30% is a final exam. Your required textbook is Pearson's 2019 Robert A. Downey Jr. Business Statistics, 3rd edition. Please note that it may change to the 4th edition if the publisher ever finishes the next edition they're working on. It's hard with COVID because they did have some supply chain issues and they were short-staffed in a lot of places. And so a lot of these books are going to be usually pushed back a year or two from their estimated copyright date. So you're expected to log in and participate. It says you're expected to come to class. This is an online class, but you are expected to participate. You can't just take the final exam and expect to get an A without doing anything else. It says students should have perfect attendance and active participation in the class. More than 3 absences will result in getting an F. So don't miss any of your assignments. Try to do them all. Distance learning online class participation. Like I said, try to make sure you do it all. Each student is expected to complete the weekly assigned readings, participate all posted discussions, and submit all required assignments. Weekly participation and assignment submission indicate attendance for each of the given weeks in the course. All assignments and course-related interactions will take place on the Zoom or Moodle. So we are using the LMS Moodle, so make sure you log in and participate. And don't forget to watch the Zoom recorded meetings from YouTube. Students, you will be responsible for maintaining access to all necessary terminology for the course participation online through regularly scheduled live Zoom meeting or Moodle for lectures and synchronous interaction with facility and other students. Weekly threaded discussions. Weekly threaded discussions are required for each student. Students are expected to submit a substantive initial posting to the weekly discussion questions along with submitting a minimum of 2 responses to the other students' postings for a total of at least 3 weekly discussion posts. Course format, lecture, reading assignment, discussion, and student presentation will be the prominent method of teaching. A large portion of the outcome depends on students' participation. Students are expected to read and critically think about assigned material. Students must learn exchanging ideas and asking substantial questions. Written assignment. All written assignment should be typed and original to the class. Student cannot submit assignment which has been submitted for another course. Refer to student handbook for proper format and style. Late assignments. All coursework is due on the assigned dates. Late assignments will be accepted only with permission granted prior to the due date. All late works without prior professor permission will result in a deduction of a grade, 5% deduction for each day past the due date. Incomplete policy. A grade of incomplete will be awarded to students who cannot physically complete their courseworks by the last day of the quarter due to avoidable situations such as a serious illness. In such cases, students should provide a valid evidence of their conditions. After a quarter has ended, it's no longer possible to request an incomplete. Plagiarism. Plagiarism is defined as the use of someone's idea, argument, or original material without acknowledging the source. KU seeks to maintain a high standard of integrity in academic work and sees any form of plagiarism as a serious problem with consequences. Technology in the classroom. Technology tools include computers or iPods, may be used in the class for note-taking purposes only. Cell phones must be turned on silent mode and returned off when entering the classroom. If you need technical assistance during the class or to report a problem, you can contact the Colonel Technical Support Center at IT Department at Colonel EDU. You can get in-person help on campus or at the IT Assistance Center and office at the main office. Tutors are trained to help students. You want to get an A in here, you need to get a 95 to 100%. That's outstanding. If you want to get an A-, you need a 90 to 94. That would be equivalent to a 3.7, and that's excellent. If you want a B+, you need to get an 86 to 89. That's 3.3, and that's a good plus. A B would be an 84 to 85, so it's a 3.0, and it's good. And then we have B- is 80 to 83, and that's about a 2.7, and that's a good minus. You should be aiming for an A, and if you come short, then you're going to end up with an A-, maybe a B+, but that's better than aiming for a C and ending up with a D. Nobody should be getting below a B. But if you do find yourself missing assignments, a C+ would be 76 to 79. That'd be 2.3, satisfactory plus. A C would be 74 to 75. That's a 2.0, satisfactory. A C- would be a 70 to 73, which would be equivalent to 1.7, satisfactory minus. A D+ would be equivalent to 66 to 69. 1.3, be poor. A D would be 64 to 65, which is a grade point of a 1, very poor, and a D- would be 60 to 63, a 0.7, extremely poor. Week 1, we have Introduction to Business Statistics and Displaying Quantitative Data. That would be chapters 1 and 2. Then we have chapter 2, which is displaying qualitative data. We have contingency tables, stem, leaf displays, scatter plots. Week 3, we have measures of central tendency, measures of variability using the mean and standard deviation together. That's chapter 3. Continuing chapter 3 of working with group data, measures of relative position, measures of association between two variables. Chapter 4, we have introduction of probabilities, probability rules for more than one event, counting principle. Chapter 6 is going to be chapter 5, which is introduction to discrete probability distributions. Week 7 is going to be chapter 6. We have normal probability distributions and uniform probability distributions. We have week 8, which is going to be our midterm exam only. You do have some videos to do, but we do have the midterm there. And we have types of sampling, which is from chapter 7 with the central limit theorem and the sampling distribution of a proportion. Chapter 11 or week 11 will be confidence intervals and the mean and sigma known. Chapter 8, we have confidence intervals for the mean, sigma unknown, calculating confidence intervals for proportions, and determining sample size. And week 12, we have the introduction of hypothesis testing. Hypothesis testing for population mean when it is known from chapter 9. Continuing in chapter 9 will be week 13. Hypothesis testing for population mean is unknown. And 14, we have chapter 10, which is hypothesis testing for proportion of a population. And lastly, week 15 is a final exam. So keep this in mind. We're working really hard. If you want to get an A, you got to make sure you do everything. Okay, so this is the syllabus, and this is what is required of you if you want to end up with an A in the class. Well, thank you so much. I look forward to working with you, or I look forward to seeing you perhaps in this class or another one. Have a great day. Bye.